Oh, baby, baby, I love it. The head honchos, Lucky's train, and how lucky am I to have Rocco Senior, actually, Rocco from the head honchos on the show. Thank you, Mr. Calipari. Come on in, buddy. Welcome.
All right. All right. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it very much.
I tell you, you guys and the head honchos, you were just talking on off air about the old school sound. And since I've got a hold of you, since Doug sent me this way, these jams, I just been cranking, especially this tune and your whole catalog. My, I just love your band. And tell us where you come from. And I know you're Indianapolis way. And again, welcome to the show, Rocco.
Well, thanks, man. And first, thanks so much for spinning our cuts all the time. I appreciate the support. That's what we need. And people like you that really help get our music out there. And, we're very appreciative. So thanks a lot. We're from Valparaiso, Indiana. We're a few hours north of Indianapolis, so we're a little closer to Chicago. We're about 45 minutes from Chicago, and we play down there. And, our sound is a wide variety of stuff. I write most of the originals, but like our covers that we pick and stuff, my son is in the band also, so he has a lot of influences, that come into the band of different people that he listens to. But, myself, I grew up in Detroit and big fan of the Motown stuff and, Bob Seger and Jay Giles. And, although I know Jay Giles isn't from there, but we kind of adopted them because back in the 70s, they used to come and play there so much, and, like you're saying, we were talking about radio back then, there's so many great FM stations, back 70s, early 70s, 80s, it was great listening to music in Detroit growing up.
It had a feel to it. It was a kind of a life, like you were saying. We had like 3-4 going. We'd flip over. You got to know everybody. And then was the music again. This is so cool about this, what I get to do here and then present your music to the world. And I'm like so tickled that, Rocco coming on my show, Rocco Calipari coming on my show tonight, to be able to talk to you and present. It's a family. Your son is playing in the band. And tell us who else is in the band for us, too, tonight.
On the CDs, different players that we have playing with us right now, but our current drummer is Noah Edmondson, and we have Mike Boyle on the bass. Mike was a longtime bassist with Sun Seals. He's done a lot of work in Chicago, and but on our CD, our drummer was Scott Schultz, who's not with us anymore. He passed away. He was a great friend of ours, and had a couple different bass players. C.C. Copeland, who's a really great bass player from Chicago, and Roberto Augusto, another great player from Chicago. And we're still close friends with all those guys. We play with a lot of guys, throughout the city and over the years with a lot of different bands. We have other guests on there, our horn players, Joe Brown and Mitch Goldman, two great horn players from Chicago. We have a keyboard player on there, Steve Ball. He's also from Valparaiso, just a guy I've known for years and years. That's a very talented musician. So, we try to surround ourselves with good people, so we help us sound even better.
Oh, exactly. And you've been rocking a long, long time and growing up in Detroit. Tell us a little bit, some of those days back in the early days. What was it like in high school bands and getting your amps and your vans and going and, putting it all together? Old school way, I say.
Yeah. Some of the greatest times of my life are, back then getting bands together. I was fortunate to come from a very musical family, and my dad was both my parents actually were so supportive of me, and my dad always made sure I had, great equipment to play out of, and I had good guitars. We didn't have much money, but he made sure I had everything I needed, and so all the bands we would normally practice at my house. I was in quite a few popular bands back then in the Detroit area, that it was a lot of fun, like I say, was big fans of Bob Seger and all that. But then in high school, really got into Deep Purple and Van Halen, and I loved all that stuff too coming up, James Gang, and so all that influence finds its way in there to our music too.
Back then, music was all like one big groove, one beat, Kool and the Gang and everything. It was just entwined, and it was, Midnight Special and all those things that we got to watch, and those are very rare things, which made it almost magical when you got to watch these bands at that time.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and Soundstage. Yeah, you're right. All those shows. It was great. It was so personal back then. You bought there was rock stars and pop artists that it seems like you were so into it. You'd buy the albums and sit there and jam them in your room really loud and sit there and just stare at the album and the pictures and read all the liner notes and the lyrics. It's just like it was just great. I miss those days.
Yeah, it was again the way of life, and everything was entwined in the way it was presented from the artist's perspective. So I'll tell you what, we're going to come right back. But one of the things on my show, we got to rock and roll a little bit. So here we go. We're going to jam about 3 in a row. Not for me, Old and Tired, and we're going to come back with Work, and then we'll be right back after that. Okay, Rocco Calipari is my fabulous guest buddy from the Head Honchos. Here we go.